So Moon Pie was originally found running loose on a property. Some of the neighbors had seen him and noticed the wound that he had, and animal control came out to get him and found that he had been bitten, or we presume bitten basically, by the size of the wound and the depth of the wound, all along the base of his tail and up along his rump. Terribly infected. There was a maggot infestation. As the officer put him in her vehicle to transport him, the end of the tail, which had obviously been injured for quite a while, just literally fell off. So when he originally went to the vet, he had about 6 inches of the tail left. Originally went to one of our offsite partners. They did some initial care, cleaned out the wound. And when he came here, we were basically faced with a wide open wound that there was not enough skin to, you couldn't close it. It was just there. Amputated the rest of the tail, and then we were still faced with this very large area that we couldn't bring skin to try and make a primary closure. So we let it heal a little bit in what's called secondary intention. And then I started going in and doing not really a skin graft, but more like a skin repositioning. I went back and looked. He had a total of 7 reconstructive surgeries before we were able to finally move enough skin to get a primary closure and have everything seal up and start to heal on its own from there.
Because he needed to have a lot of medical care, the medical team as well as the foster team collaborated to get this guy off to a foster home. Unfortunately, he refused to go into the house, and it was December. He just wanted to lay in the yard, and foster told me that he was very polite about it, but he really did not want to go inside. He does okay being in the shelter, but we are expecting him to go to a home and requiring him to go to a home where he can continue to live more of an outdoor life. It does mean that he will have more of an outdoor setting that he can live in while still having a good caretaker and lots of love and attention. Yeah, he just comes up to you and he's just very happy. He may not have a tail, but he does his little wiggle butt, and it's so cute. Our animal care team has been outstanding because he's been with us for several months now, and they have shown him lots of love, given him lots of enrichment.
He is so sweet. Whenever he wants attention, he comes right up to you, puts his head there, leans in, and is ready for some scritching and some loving. We had to put our other dog down a month ago, 4 weeks ago. And my husband said after 2 weeks, I can't do it without an animal. And as soon as he saw his picture, he said, I think he's the one. He comes in, he stays inside all night, and 5:30 gets up and says, okay, it's time for me to go out. When cars come by, we have to run him outside if he's inside so that he can make sure and protect the land. But yeah, he's just very lovable. Very lovable, huh? Yeah.
You know, so Moon Pie is one of those cases where we want animals that come into the shelter to obviously get released from the shelter as soon as possible, but every once in a while we have a case like him that requires more extensive and ongoing procedures, and it's really through the help of the community and the support from the community that we can afford to do those kinds of individual cases for that individual animal and get him back to a point where he can find his new forever home.